Good evening and welcome to our special session on safe and trustworthy AI. Artificial intelligence is no longer a futuristic concept. It is already shaping how we live, work and make decisions. From voice assistant and recommendation system to healthcare diagnostic and financial services, AI is everywhere. But as AI becomes more powerful, an important question arises: can we trust it? Is it only enough for AI system to be safe, or should they also be trustworthy, fair, transparent, and accountable? In today's discussion, we explore the journey of computing from traditional system to modern AI-driven technologies, and how the focus is shifting from mere automation to human-centric, ethical, and responsible AI systems. We will also look at emerging concepts such as generative AI, AI copilots, and agentic AI, and understand how increasing levels of automation brings both opportunities and risks. We are honored to have with us Dr. Tilotamma Goswami, a distinguished academician and researcher in computer science and engineering. She holds a B from NIT Durgapur and PhD from University of Hyderabad with extensive experience in academia, research and IT industry. Her expertise includes computer vision, machine learning, image processing, and she has received several awards including Women Research Award and UGC BSR Fellowship. Dr. Goswami will help us understand how we can build AI systems that are not just intelligent but also safe, ethical, worthy of our trust. We warmly welcome Dr. Tilotamma to share her insight with us today. So stay tuned as we decode the future of AI, where technology meets responsibilities. So as we begin, let us start with the fundamental ideas that often creates confusion. We frequently hear the terms safe and trustworthy system. Are they really identical, or they represent different ideas? Could you help us, our viewers, to understand this with some real-world example?
First of all, I would like to thank Professor Sandeep Singh Rawat sir, and it's an honor for me to participate in this Gyan Darshan. First question which sir has asked, both safe and trustworthy, both of them, how they are related. So safe is a part of the trust. So the trustworthy goes beyond the safety to ensure the stakeholders trust the system. And safety is something which there's no harm in using this system. If we take some analogy, say for example for the driving aspects, like in autonomous driving vehicles, now you can consider one situation. If I say it's a safe system, so that means the autonomous vehicle, it avoids the crash and it is able to recognize the pedestrian, or it will be able to handle unexpected obstacles. What about the trustworthy? It's more than the safety part, because it will explain why it has taken the decision to stop or to go, and it will treat all the pedestrians equally. And in case there is any privacy to be maintained about the data, that also will be protected, and it will follow all the regulations. Another analogy which we can take is from the medical domain. In the cancer diagnosis, we know nowadays artificial intelligence, machine learning, they are helping us in diagnosis, and it is able to predict whether the tumor is cancerous, malignant or not. So again, if I say that the software is safe, Safe means here it is able to accurately identify the tumor. And when the patient is taken to the MRI machine or any other equipments, there's no harm to the patient. But trustworthy system means, yes, we go to a particular hospital with a brand name and then we say we trust the system. So that means it is not only safety, but at the same time the doctors and the practitioners are able to take the decisions and able to explain to the stakeholders, and it treats all the patients equally and it follows all the hospital regulations. So that's how we can say here that the safety is one aspect of the trustworthy.
Got it. So thank you for your clear explanation. So now that we have understood the difference between safety and trustworthiness, so let us look their origin. Did these concerns emerge only with AI, or do they have a deeper roots? So before the rise of AI, during the era of Industry 3.0 or traditional computing system, which has already faced issues related to safety and trust, would it be fair to say that these concerns existed even then? Over to you.
Okay, so Professor Rawat, it is a very logical question to start with. When the topic is safe and trustworthy AI, but it means it is still there and it was existing, but maybe it was not told as a trustworthy. Usually we were using the word it is reliable software, or we can say that the data integrity was maintained, and also the cyber security. That means the cyber security is there for ages. So that means the hacking, the system cannot be hacked. So are we making sure that the program doesn't crash when the network load is very high? So all these are also a part of safety and trustworthy. But the thing here was not that much challenging, because I'm talking about the Industrial Revolution 3.0, which is more, the system behaves predictable. It was the predictable way of doing, where it was not much of a challenging in the era of the AI. So why it was not that challenging? Because it is a rule-based engineering. So there are some set of rules, the software is written, and if those rules are followed, the output is deterministic. So it was not anything about probabilistic. So if the system is working fine, the results are predictable. So that's how the safety and the trustworthy part is already there, but it was not that much challenging. And we had this software safety certifications, ISO 27001, CMMI levels 1 to 5 for the software industry or the products. So yes, it was always a quality for any software, any product. It was of utmost importance. So it was there from the Industry 3.0 as well.
Got it. So I think few of our viewers may not be aware of what is this industry, this 3.0 or 4.0 or maybe beyond, or maybe when it was really started. Can we give some brief idea about what exactly this industry evolution is?
Okay, so initially when we started, the first industry means those were the factories and the steam engine, and it started with 1.0. Then 2.0 was also some of the manufacturing where it was many industrial revolution took place. In the Industry 3.0, it was more on the digitization, where the data we are able to automation on. Yes, you are correct. So it is an automation, and in that automation, we are talking about very deterministic type of automation. Say, for example, I can tell you, like if you are having one AC system in your house. So if you set some of the parameters, and then it will work. It is a rule based. It is expected to work in a certain manner. If there is a coffee machine, it's an automated. You give the inputs and then again set some parameters. It is expected to work in a certain manner. So all these, or maybe e-commerce. So these are all about the automation. So in this automation, that is the industry 3.0. So when we are going with this in the industry 4.0, so that is data driven engineering, where the data is the king, and at every footsteps, literally footsteps I am telling, because you have a smartwatch and you can count how many steps you have taken, how much calories you have burned. So how it is possible? Because we are able to capture all the data. So that's how we moved from the 3.0 to data-driven engineering, which is Industry 4.0.
Got it. I think that has given a very good historical perspective to our viewers. So moving forward, the transition to AI has significantly changed how the system operates. Let us now explore what triggered this transformation. As we move into the AI-driven era of Industry 4.0, there was a major shift from rule-based system to data-driven model, which you was talking just now. Could you explain how and why this transformation happened?
Okay, so this is all, it happened because there was a huge improvement or a revolution in the digital technologies, and we are able to capture multimodal data. It was not only text, it is images. Previously, a camera was something which only very few people could have, the photographs, but nowadays anyone who is able to talk through a phone can also take a image. So that way, if we say the data capture or the digital technologies, revolution in the digital technologies helped in the common man also to collect a lot of data. So this data, what we will do? So the systems are now developed to make some decision making based on this data. So that's why this is also now moved to it is also called intelligent automation. So previously it was just an automation, but depending on the data, we are able to do personalization. We are able to cater recommendation according to the personalization, and thus it became an intelligent way of automation.
Got it. I think that shifts clearly shows how technology has evolved. But as systems become more intelligent, expectation from them also increase. And this brings us to the broader area of responsible AI. Today, we hear a lot about safe and trustworthy AI, but responsible AI seems to go beyond that. In the context of Industry 4.0 and 5.0, what additional aspects should we consider when discussing responsible AI system?
Okay, so before we go ahead with the aspects of responsible AI, I would like to say there is one difference between this automation and the emergence of the AI ML. So here I will tell you about this automation, which is also called in the manufacturing industries or any process automation. There is a robotic process automation where the efficiency is made because the automation is done to for the repetitive tasks, rule-based tasks using pre-programmed rules. Okay, but these type of tasks we are not able to adapt to any changes, and also it struggles with other modality of data like audio, image, which are unstructured. So to overcome this automation in Industry 4.0, we have seen that how the artificial intelligence and machine learning, it has helped in tackling these limitations. So first of all, as I told you, because of the digital technologies, we are able to have a lot of data, and the data driven decision making can be done using the learning of the patterns from the data. So that is machine learning, correct? So now the predictions on these unseen data can be done once I have learned the data for that particular system. I understand the pattern, and now for the futuristic or for trend analysis, I can also predict the future outcome. So if there are any changes, the changes or sudden changes, because it's all probabilistic, with the system in Industry 4.0 is able to adapt and evolve with the changes. Also, there is a cognitive part. Cognitive part means reasoning started coming. So when the autonomous vehicles sees there is a red, everyone knows by rule based I should stop the vehicle, and when it turns green, the vehicle should start. But if by mistake a pedestrian crosses the zebra crossing and it was not supposed to be crossing, but because it is green, the vehicle can start and it can hit the pedestrian. So there are certain logical reasoning also behind this engine. And now if I am making it automated, so as a human driver, I would take that into consideration, though in the rule based it is green means go. But will the autonomous vehicle also have such type of moral responsibility to not to hit the pedestrian? So these types of complex cognitive task of reasoning is being taken care in this Industry 5.0, where we are expecting them. It may happen that there can be certain uncertainty positions or uncertainty situations which needs to be tackled by the system or the automated software. And also during the unstructured data, some book I want to there is one judiciary book, I want to summarize some chapters. So it is not a structured like the database management system where everything is in tables. It is just a huge text. Can I summarize? Can I take certain key takeaways from it? So those type of reasoning, those type of summarization is also possible in your using the AI ML. So when this expectation moves from the rule based towards the data driven to the intelligent automation, where some cognitive abilities are also expected, then the responsible AI comes into picture. So I think Professor Rawat, you were asking about this responsible AI aspects. So before that, I thought if we should also know.
That is very true, very true. And I think our viewers should also know about little bit about how this machine get trained. Like when we are actually talking about, machine learning nowadays, and machine is predicting a lot of, that unseen futures. And so how this is being done? Can you just give a little bit idea how what kind of data we give, whether it is structured data, unstructured data, or we have a semi-structured data? So maybe we can also talk a little bit about this.
Okay. So it's yes, these foundations need to be clear to us so that when we go with the trustworthy systems, then we know the target, what our software is expected. So first of all, in traditional computing, we say, for example, sorting some numbers. There is an algorithm which is getting developed. After the algorithm has been developed, we give the input and we get the sorted output. If the input is given by anyone, the output is deterministic and remains same. So this is a traditional computing for called algorithms. When we came to this machine learning, the new concept of models came into picture. Here we are giving you, these are the inputs and this is the output. In the month from, I'm taking a time series data from January to maybe December for 5 years data, continuous temperature data we have collected every day and also hourly basis. So here what is the input? Every day, every hourly temperature has been given, and I have taken an output telling that it is hot or moderate or cool. So there are 5 classes. That also labeling we have given to this data of 4 years. Now when this input of temperature and the output of classes both are given, there the machine learning tries to learn this pattern of input and output and tries to devise a function, and that function is giving this input, this will be the output, and if it learns perfectly, then on the 5th or the 6th year, any data if you give, it will be able to tell you whether it will be moderate or it will be. So there is a learning from the data. So there can be classification, clustering, there are regression. So there are certain machine learning tasks depending on the, I'm not going in much details. So any function will try to learn these patterns and on the seen data, and on the unseen data it will try to predict. So this prediction is probabilistic in nature. So now we have seen in traditional computing, we are having a deterministic output for a function when given an input, whereas in machine learning, we are devising a model which can predict on an unseen data after getting trained from the seen data. So that's how the prediction or predictability or probabilistic output of the nature output is being considered. So deterministic versus probabilistic. So once it is probabilistic, there are chances that the error can be huge or error can be less. So the target of any machine learning is to minimize the error when we are trying to predict. So this is what is the data science getting connected to this AI ML, because finally if you have large data, your training will be more accurate, your data representation will be more accurate. So that's why this data analysis or the data science now when gets connected to the AI machine learning, then all the recognition, recommendation or your prediction, purchase prediction, stock, your stock trade, everything, there are so many examples are there which are all probabilistic in nature now, no more deterministic.
Got it. I think it is same as how our small kids are getting learned. So childhood में जब छोटे बच्चे होते हैं तो I think they learn from their environment, they learn from their parents, they learn from their teachers. In a similar way, when we are building a model, when we are building a machine learning model, for example, you mentioned about the weather forecasting. So in the same way, I think a lot of inputs will be given in the form of data. This could be again like numeric data or textual data or maybe any document or image data, satellite data, like all these things are possible. And once these systems are trained, and then for any unseen data, they can always predict. That is what you are talking about.
Yes, correct.
And I think that's very insightful. So as we move towards more advanced system, it is important to think about what lies ahead. So let us turn our attention to the future. Looking ahead, how do you see trustworthy computing evolving in future?
Okay, so Professor Rawat, as we were talking, the transition from Industry 3.0 to the Industry 4.0, the aspects of this responsible AI, it covers a very big spectrum, the umbrella which includes the safety and the trustworthy and more than that. So if I take the fairness is one of the responsible AI aspect which actually avoids bias and discrimination. Example, like in 1960s or 70s, if I give a data where one of the feature is gender and I tell there are other features also, and the machine learning learns how the candidates get placed. So because there was a gender which were mostly 99% male, it learned through this feature that gender, if it is male, it is a predominant feature, and that's why they get the job, they get placed. Now when we give the data at present, and in that the gender is almost 50%, 40-60%, but the model learned using the data from 60s and 70s, then it will discriminate the other gender, telling that okay, this is not they are female, she won't be placed. So we have to remove this gender part so that we avoid the bias and the discrimination. Similarly, for loan approval or any finance related application domain, if some of the features we think are introducing or it is seeping in the discrimination or biasness in the model learning, immediately the responsible AI aspect will take care of this and make that model fair. Number 2, it is transparency. Understand the AI decisions. For example, there is one performance appraisal system, because there are huge some lakhs of employees in that company. Depending on certain features, again the model was taught how this performance appraisal has to be done in 5 grades. After doing this learning, say for example, it is a complex system, this machine learning, the management tells how it has graded this employee, the fourth in grade 4, why this employee was in grade 1. So as a machine learning practitioner, I cannot say that I don't know. The machine learning has predicted, and that's why this is the result in my system. So the AI has taken decision. We should be able to tell how it has arrived to this decision. So there is to be an explainability as well as transparency in both the taking decisions, because it matters a lot to a person, to an employee. So we should not give the whole control to the machine learning.
Yes, I think Professor Tilotamma, I think you talked about safety and you talked about trustworthiness. I think we will have a small break now, and then we'll continue our discussion.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you know that the world's population has reached 8 billion on 15th November 2022? And we are still counting. I don't know where do we go from here. The predictions are scary. Any idea how many people can mother and sustain? India's growing population is a serious concern, and we are soon going to become the world's most populous country. Wow, number one. Population is, after all, a human issue. The UN proposed Sustainable Development Goals cannot be achieved unless and until we consider the population dynamics. So, here we are. Indira Gandhi National Open University offers appreciation course on population and sustainable development. The course explores the linkages between population and sustainable development. In this course, there are diverse issues related to population, environmental safety, livelihoods, human health, migration, urbanization, and much more. The course duration is 3 months, but of course, you can complete it within a year. The eligibility of the course is graduation from a recognized university. So, if you are a development professional, working in a government sector, researcher, or keen to know more about the population and sustainable development, the course is must for you. Hurry up and join this course so that we are able to convert population into demographic dividend and not convert it into demographic disaster. For more information, visit www.ignou.ac.in. Thank you.
Welcome back. So in the first half, we saw the artificial intelligence is not only about the technology, it's also about the responsibilities. So our expert was talking about responsible AI. I will request her to continue.
Thank you, Professor Rawat. So in the responsible AI is a bigger spectrum. It's a umbrella which takes care of many aspects like fairness, transparency, explainability, which we discussed in the first half. Now I would also like to focus on some more aspects like privacy. Nowadays we are able to generate a lot of data through the social media and through Google Forms. For anything and everything we are asking the customers or the citizens to fill a form. So are we taking care that these data are not made public? Are there any regulations in the system that this data is meant to be used only for this software and not for any other purpose? So this privacy is also a big aspect of the responsible AI. If for the system we are collecting or we are doing data acquisition, whether it is image or text or sound or any satellite images, we have to be very careful with the privacy agreement as well. Then accountability. As I was discussing, that the employee was given a grade 4, another employee was given a grade 1, but I don't own the accountability because the machine learning has given the output. We cannot say like that. So we as a developer or we as a owner of the software or as a company, we should be taking the responsibility of the outcomes which has been generated by the automation, or called the intelligent, so-called intelligent automation. The security is also one of the prime aspect for responsible AI. It should not be hacked. There should not be any attacks in the system. So the security, the sandbox, whether we are able to do the testing in every possible manner. So that's also the testing scenario has also changed nowadays. It is not the traditional test cases. The test cases are of different ways, where we are also generating a scenario so that the adversarial attacks are again tested, and the protection, how to give protection in these cases, all these case studies are also taken care. Now coming to the governance, that is the ethical practices. So this has to come up in a large manner, because there is this generative AI which is able to generate lot of data. It is able to generate images, it is able to summarize a particular text, but is it doing correctly or not? A human has to be there in the loop. So it should not have an oversight by the human that, okay, whatever output has come from this automation, the intelligent automation, we will be forwarding it to the next process. So that if we do these way, and also the AI systems, they are also very hungry on the energy, because we know the training takes a lot of, it's a computational heavy loaded thing. So the energy, it is eating up a lot of energy in the data centers for the training. So to sustain this automation, the intelligent automation or industry 4.0, we should also devise energy efficient AI data centers or the AI systems. So with all these aspects of responsible AI, now it is no more like in traditional computing. It is just seeing that whether this system is reliable or not. It is more than just reliability, but with all these aspects, and we can say these will tell us whether we are going in a right direction for our product using AI or not.
Got it. So our future really looks promising, but I think it also brings us a lot of challenges, especially when we are talking with respect to the programming. So let us talk about the growing role of AI in programming. With the increasing use of AI co-pilots in software development, programmers are relying more on AI to generate code. Do you think that this trend strengthens the industry, or does it introduce new concern about reliability, safety, and trust?
Okay, Professor Rawat, when we were talking about AI ML, nowadays in this new paradigm has come, which is generative AI. Previously, with the examples which I was giving you for forecasting, recommendation system, it was not generating any data as such. But here during this generative AI, we are also able to generate fake data. We are also able to generate some real data. But the generation is something which till before this generative AI came into picture, it was all the humans were generating. The machines were not generating any data. Humans were filling the data, correct? So in this generative data, let us see some examples. When we were doing the coding, the programmer who is a trained programmer, they were writing the code. Now with this co-pilot, one example is it is assisting the programmer, telling the suggestions. I want to sort data of numbers. I want to sort it alphabetically. So many things are there. It will suggest this is the code, tell us the programming language. So it is basically assisting the programmers or the users or operators. Similarly, there are co-pilots in each and every system which will suggest the actions and based on the user prompts. So this helped a lot. This has created a revolution for better productivity, improved prototyping, and also it has given a very good learning assistance to the novice learners. But again, as we tag the word responsibility. So when these co-pilots are generating or assisting the users, are they doing it responsibly? So the AI co-pilots are augmenting the programmers like peer programmers, but it cannot replace the human judgment. Why? Once this code has been written, the manager has to review the code and make it sure that this code is running fine according to the regulations of the product. So that human over
0 and 4.0. What about Industry 5.0? Do we have any further changes in the evaluation process?
Yes, Professor Rawat, what we were talking about this co-pilot, let us take this stretch a little bit forward, and that's what is the 5.0 we will be reaching. So let us first again reiterate what is this AI co-pilot. As I told you, it can generate hallucinated code. That means this code, generated code, it looks correct, but it is not correct. It is a wrong code. Some logical errors are there. Maybe it has used some functions or libraries which are deprecated. Then there can be some security vulnerabilities. There can be a copyright issues. So all these co-pilots, when there is always a risk of having this, but still we can say it is not executing on its own. It does not have any autonomy. It is just suggesting, and then if I accept, then this code is being run. But when we go to the futuristic, which is called agentic, it is not futuristic, it is basically emerging because it's already started. Many companies have already started working on this agentic AI. So many softwares are there, so many codes are there. So I should say this is an emerging technology where in this agentic AI, it will directly execute. So that means a workflow will be given. So here it is workflow based. Some workflow will be given, and the agentic AI is nothing but there are multiple agents for each task. Say for example, if you are given a video, one agent will just recognize which language it is. It's in English. Okay. So just language recognition, one agent has done. Another agent will translate it. So it's not that translation was not there. Translator was there. But this is an agent is doing automatically. There's no humans in it. And similarly, multiple agents are there who are interconnectedly executing the whole workflow. So here the execution is autonomously done, interacts with the enterprise tools. But here there is a risk. Why? Because the autonomy has been taken by the machines. No more there is any human control. So do we want to have such type of systems in future? The experts say in this field that it is very dangerous. Say for example, in autonomous vehicle also, though it is driving without any human intervention, but the humans can take control while driving anytime. It can switch from this autonomous to human. Correct? If say for example, if there is no human counterpart at all, then this would have become a very dangerous. So that's why the solution is mostly on the progressive autonomy model, where the human in the loop has to be there. The assistance is there, but humans will approve it. The AI is executing, but humans will monitor it. So this partial autonomy should be there. If there is a small part of workflow which is deterministic, let us execute it autonomously, not a problem. But whenever there is some probabilistic part of the workflow bound, that should be under the human intervention. So that's what is the futuristic, where the machines can take forward autonomously multiple tasks. Say, for example, you go off to the office, you open the mailbox. Instead of you being in the desk, the agents read the mails, reply the mails, without you knowing what it has replied. So that's going a bit far.
Yes, I think that raises an important point about increasing dependence on AI tools. So, but how we are moving towards a step further from assistance to autonomy. So, if you talk about, we now see the emergence of agentic AI system that can act autonomously. Unlike Copilot, which also assists humans, autonomy increases. Do you think that these poses a greater risk?
Yes, it poses a greater risk because Industry 5.0, it is cyber physical systems. Cyber physical systems, or we have heard about this, Professor Rawat, we are talking about always the smart cities, correct?
Yes, yes.
Word the smart has come into picture. So what is smart systems? Smart systems are basically the human allied AI, where some parts of the systems, smart systems, are automated and some are collaborative. Collaborative means you, before entering your house, you set the temperature of your rooms. You are not inside the room, but the system, the AC system, has taken some data from its environment and it has automated and suggested some of the temperature setting. Now you collaborate and tell, no, I want more of it or less of it. So there is always this, as you told, that yes, right, if we do not have human in the loop, human doesn't collaborate in the systems, then it will become very, very risky. So to have an intelligent, ethical, sustainable system behavior, that's what is called the smart systems. That's what is the futuristic. So always the human judgment is taken as a feedback, and this system adapts to this feedback, adjusts its parameters while learning, and this machine adaptation is based on by having this human allied AI. So that is what is the futuristic. So where we started with robotic process automation, where no intelligence was there, slowly we moved towards the intelligent system with machine autonomy, but now we want to collaborate with the machines, and there we have to take a decision which part of the machine decision has to be adapted by the human feedback. So that is what is the smart systems, the emerging smart systems into the picture. So as we move this trustworthy computing, it was there, as we in the first half we told, it was always there. So it has now evolved. The trustworthy computing has evolved from deterministic programs, systems, to the machine learning and generative AI. Now it is the agentic AI or autonomous systems. So this has now given more aspects to be considered, and that's why we say the safe and trustworthy AI is nothing but the responsibility taken by the AI decisions. where we had also discussed some of the aspects as fairness, transparency, security, trustworthiness, and all those aspects have to be taken. But how it will be incorporated in the code, because here we are just talking about something. How do you code a trust code? How I know how to do a sorting algorithm. There are so many algorithms, shortest path, and all those things are there. But how do you know this module is a trustworthy? So this thing has to be emerged by the programming fraternity. How do you say this is not making any discrimination? It is something ethical. How do you make a code ethical? So these things are not very straightforward, sir.
Yes.
So this is some complex part. When we are trying to map a cognitive part to the code part, there's some fuzziness or there's some black box thing which we need to reveal in the future.
Very true. And I think this is naturally leading us to the most important concerns in artificial intelligence system, that is about the accountability, right?
Yes.
So when we are talking about the accountability, so when system is acting by their own things, right? So who is going to take that blame? So because if AI system makes a mistake, we really don't know that who is going to take that blame. So who should be held responsible for that?
Yes. So very important and a legal question also, because once we have seen in the news lots of case studies, an autonomous vehicle hit the road, a pedestrian got killed. Now who will go to jail? The code cannot go to jail. The car cannot go to jail. System cannot go to jail. So who wrote, he should go to jail, or the company should go to jail. Like it's all there has to be some policies which is coming up nowadays. Lot of such government bodies or countries are working on it, because another thing is also there. Say internet is not having any country boundary, correct? If you write a comment in LinkedIn which hurts another person, and that person makes gives a legal notice, but when this comment was made, whether you were in which geolocation, that matters, because finally the LinkedIn is not a country, town, district specific, correct? So when this software is coming into this internet, then how it has to be tackled? Will it follow a country policy, country law, or will it has to be something different, correct? So the internet should have its own policies, and it has to every country has to abide by that. So all these experts are there. So it is called interdisciplinary manner, where the policy makers come into picture, the software developers come into picture, the companies come into picture, the lawyers come into picture, the legalities come into picture. Everyone has to sit together in one forum and make some decisions. So when the AI does not remove accountability, it cannot say now that, okay, I am a I am a code, so I don't take accountability. No, it actually redistributes. How? If that model accuracy and the fairness part has to be taken by the ML engineers. The deployment team will see whether it has been deployed in a secured manner. Then the developers will also do all sorts of testing to integrate and whether it is abiding the system design, or the requirements analysis has been made. When the production has been deployed, the business owners have to approve it before it is released. The software is released to the client. Then there has to be some acceptance testing by the client that yes, this is what we had expected and this is what we got. So they have to have this acceptance testing. Then this operations team will be there. So I think there has to be certain protocols which need to be set. who will be accounted for what, so that if there is any error, accordingly the decision can be taken. Say for example, if an AI system wrongly approves a financial transaction, then for the model behavior, the ML engineer or the ML team can be responsible. If it is the system control, because it's a financial transaction, the DevOps can be there for approving. Why did you approve this automation, this release? The business owner can be done. So finally, we can say this trustworthy AI stack technology, there is this ethics layer also coming into picture. So apart from the technology, the software person, the software engineer or the machine learning practitioner also should know that there is an ethics layer which has to be taken care, because it's a part of responsible AI. So when we make the accurate, robust machine learning model, the bias detection has been made, the fairness metrics have been computed. I am able to explain why this machine learning has given this output. The secure and reliable systems are developed. This is all the technology part. That means it's a safe one. Now comes this ethics layer. In this ethics layer, the human oversightedness will be taken care, where humans will be in the loop and the machine will adapt accordingly. Then the AI systems themselves cannot be alone responsible. So the governance layer, that is the law enforcement, the accountable AI, as Professor Sandeep sir was saying, who is accountable? So that means there has to be an accountable AI at the last, because for any misdoings, any mistakes, we have to pay the cost. Who will pay the cost? For that, AI regulations and standards are being developed by the organization at the national level. Then risk assessment, auditing will be done, and they will deploy all these policies. The version analysis will be done. So that part, this layer of accountable AI is now also seen in, it's coming up in a very important importance is being given, because before we give the machine the autonomy to do all the things, we also have to have the accountable AI in position, so that this responsibility and accountability goes hand in hand.
Yes, I got it. So I think the same is true with the other generative AI as well, whether you use Copilot or we use Gemini or ChatGPT, any generative AI we are using. I think this is for all the other tools as well. So I think you talked about accountable layer as well. So as we are coming to the end of today's insightful discussion on safe and trustworthy AI, one thing is clear, that artificial intelligence is not just about the technology, it's also about the responsibility. So we learned that while making AI systems safe is essential, building trustworthy AI goes a step further, ensuring fairness, transparency, accountability, and respect for human values. From the evolution of computing to the rise of generative AI and agentic AI, the journey clearly shows that the future lies in human-AI collaboration, where technology supports and augments human decision making rather than just replacing it. As AI continues to shape our world, it is important for all the stakeholders, developers, organizations, policymakers, and users to work together in building systems that are ethical, reliable, and beneficial for the society. So we thank our expert for sharing valuable insight and helping us better understand the importance of responsible AI. So thank you very much for joining us. Stay informed, stay responsible, and keep exploring the world of technology. Thank you.